Yeah, a fun little stack of comics that we're going to review today. A nice variety, different styles, different periods. Just a great little enjoyable stack that we went through this week. And we're starting out with the Archies Anniversary Spectacular. We're celebrating the Archies' 55th anniversary with a special issue honoring their musical mayhem, featuring a brand new story in Sound Off. The Archies are looking for a place to practice after their loud music forced Mr. Andrews to kick them out of his garage. Where will they go next to rehearse? Plus, a sampling of some of the best classic stories featuring the musical supergroup. This is a blast. They did the Sound Off storyline has no words, has lots of emojis. So you can basically feel through the storyline with the emojis and stuff that they put in there. It just plays it out nicely so it's not hard to understand. And then all these stories kind of flow together really nicely. So even though you got Sound Off being a newer story that kind of flows nicely into the older stories, and they all kind of have some similarities to them. And Once Upon a Tune, our Archie's band is sitting there playing, dealing with their music, but yet they're also dealing with their fireman uh, side of their abilities and helping try and figure out what's up with the school being burnt down or school being on fire. And at the same time, something happens to Archie, and he has a prehistoric style flashback on seeing all our characters in prehistoric times. And Reggie gets a little out of hand in these stories, but a little aggressive with the girls. But we got the Music Man, where our characters are playing their music and trying to find a way to get bigger, better, and all that. And just so happens that Veronica mentions that her dad, Mr. Lodge, has connections with someone that's in the music industry, so she begs him to get them a shot and interview with the guy or get to play for the guy and get to see what happens along the way with all the Archie goofiness. Then we got Visit to a Small Panic storyline where our characters are come across some creators that apparently created the Archies but never met the Archies, or they it kind of plays out like the creators created the Archies prior to ever knowing there really were real Archies out there. And they find out that the characters are have their similarities or differences from how they portrayed them, and it's a fun little look at how those the difference between the creators' ideas on the characters and the actual characters themselves. We have Betty and Veronica, friends forever. Rock on with a brand new story to kick off this collection of melodic tales in rock candy. Archies have some competition when a new girl band, Rock Candy, enters the scene. But it's not all sugar and spice and everything nice. Betty and Veronica are feeling torn about having to leave the Archies behind. But there's way more of a musical future for them in Rock Candy. Along with their drummer, new girl Jola Kit, do they have what it takes to rock all of Riverdale? Plus more rockin' stories of musical mayhem. Hey, you got the girls off on their own doing music, and the boys doing theirs separately. The boys kind of push the girls out by not wanting them to be part of the band, not thinking they're good enough to be part of the band, which is their own downfall for doing that stupidly. But we get a Brana's Beautiful storyline where the girls are obsessed with their roadie, and the roadie's looked down upon by the manager because the manager wants the girls to like him, but they like the roadie better, and the jealousy makes them some things happen, and some regrets come out of those decisions. We got the Archies in Music Sues, where they're trying to play and everybody's sick and tired of their music and they keep getting pushed around town, and yet at the same time you get to see some fun things between the girls' parents and the boys' part of the band. We got the Archies in Labor of Love, where they're still trying to get their music played in a venue, see what they can do. They come across a gig. Uh, Archie, of course, gets jealous because Veronica is dancing with someone else, and some things happen because Archie focuses more on that than the music, and all kinds of twists and turns. But lots of fun, lots more rock and roll enjoyment. Those two back to back were a nice little pickup. I think I picked those up at uh, one of their most recent cons. Yeah, I think I would have picked that up probably at the last Mighty Con, but you would know if you've seen my unpackings from the shows. You probably know more than I do because I can't remember the stuff. That's why I review them right away and get them out there. Picked up Joe Fix's number 4 because of the cover, having Rhino on it, and I was really happy I did because the storyline is very enjoyable in my opinion. We got an explosion of experimental gamma energy turned scientist Bruce Banner into the superhero known as the Hulk, one of the strongest beings in the universe today. But there was a period of time when the green-skinned brawler moved to Las Vegas and took on a new identity, that of a gray-skinned mob enforcer known as Joe Fixit. Kingpin has come to Las Vegas to add the city to his criminal empire. Thanks to a rare toxin that gave him absolute control over Joe Fixit, Kingpin has already run Fixit's boss, Michael Berengetti, out of town. While Spider-Man searched for a cure for the toxin, Bruce Banner tried to talk some sense into his alter ego in their mindscape, only for Fixit to give Banner control of their shared body mid-leap, leaving Banner now plummeting to his death. Done by Peter David, Yildiray Sinar, D. Canif, and VC's Ariana Mayer. Uh, I'm glad I picked this up, but there's obviously at least one issue before it that relates to the storyline and one issue after it, so I'm kind of like in a midway point. But seeing this is kind of like the first real introduction to the Joe Fixit style character. I love this picture of Rhino. That's just an awesome big layout right there with him charging. But we get the Kingpin, who has the Rhino and Joe Fixit and Electro under his hand. They're his heavies, taking care of things for him. Spider-Man comes into this storyline. Some characters I've never seen before are in this storyline. And we basically deal with a mob takeover style story with the crossover with the Joe Fixit character and everything. I don't know much of anything about Joe Fixit. I don't know how the Hulk turned from green to gray. I don't know why his skin would change. I'd like to know that part about it. But other than that, I'm not a huge mob story fanatic anymore. I used to enjoy it more in my teenage years, but I do like that character after that little bit of reading with him, so I will definitely get at least issue 3 and 5, so I can hopefully get the rest of that part of the storyline, then I'll see where we go from there. I will be watching the bargain bins. We picked up the Monkees, an old 12-cent comic from back in the day. Found this one, I think, at the Lucky Dogs show that we went to, I believe, possibly. Let's say it's got you got all your old advertisements. It's not damaged, not the ad. Usually, you get this advertisement thing, cards cut out, or people started to write their order on them and stuff. But they're out with Ship of Fools, where the Monkees are trying to find some gold that they heard about. They have a map or something. They come across some things. They're searching for gold, and They're just having all kinds of goofiness that happens along the way. They're in way too shallow water. They have another ship that comes upon them. They end up joining up with that ship because that ship takes out their boat, destroys their little raft that they're on. And it's fun because it's if you don't know the Monkees TV show, you won't understand the comic probably because they do the same thing where they have like the characters do sketches during the scenes. Storyline turns into a bunch of sketches. They'll change clothes constantly, change characters constantly, and just parody out a bunch of stuff and have fun with it. And they did a great job with this comic. As if you're into the Monkees and you know how their TV show went, you'd totally catch it and understand it. But if you didn't, you might be a little confused by the pages where they're changing up their looks constantly and doing different things. But now we got a bird in the hand. It's nice that they have a few different stories in here that you can check out. But our characters come across a duffel bag that someone left on a park bench, and there just so happens to be a certain TV show that happened to come into their neighborhood, and it's a show that basically tests your trustworthiness. And so they figured they found a bag full of money, they're going to return it to the guy. So they travel all over trying to catch the guy. And of course, while they do it, they go through all their little skits again, and they end up skiing in the Alps. They have a polar bear bobsledding with them. It's like they're hunting foxes with a bunch of dogs on horses, and they're out surfing in the big waves. They go out into the desert, and they just travel all over the place with all their little skits, just having all kinds of fun. And it's just very well done. I love the TV show back in the day. I love this comic. My sister hung out with, I can't remember his name, but the one that's got the hat. He's from Wisconsin. His family's not far from us. His sister and her friends, you got pictures of them hanging out back in the day. But and of course everybody liked Davy. But yeah, the last one is the ad men, where they're hungry, they're looking for something to eat. Come across this hot dog vendor that's just not had business in a few days and is suffering. So they sit there and go around promoting this hot dog place. It's fun how it ends up. But yeah, they go all over, traveling around, trying to talk everybody into it, and they even go into space. It's not like any of these characters are gonna travel that far to come to get hot dogs, but you never know. It's got a surprising ending to it, but and granted, you're probably not going to find this comic anyways. So basically, they helped out the hot dog very nicely. But I was so happy to come across this. I'd love to come across a bunch more of these and get a nice little collection going. So I will be keeping an eye out. It was in a 50 cent or $1 bin. I know that it was cheap. Actually, it might have been a half price books for like $2 or $3, but did pick it up for a good deal. And the last one I got is Wolverine number 316. I got this one because of the creepy castle on the Rock Mountain there that Wolverine's walking up to. Kind of a strange looking Wolverine. He's kind of got this fat body, fat back strap going on for him. And I wasn't big on the look of him as he's walking up there. He just looks different, looks weird. It's like his top half was completed, but his bottom half from the waist down wasn't very well completed. I don't know if you can see the gal's face in there in the rain. But in this story, we get to see kind of a variety of different time eras. It's like we go back into 1934 at one point, and I suppose I can give a little bit of a synopsis off this. Many years ago, a secret government organization abducted the man, the man called Logan. Excuse me. A mutant possessing razor-sharp bone claws and the ability to heal from any wound. In their attempt to create the perfect living weapon, the organization bonded the unbreakable metal adamantium to his skeleton. The process was excruciating, and by the end, there was little left of the man known as Logan. He had become Wolverine, which is probably better. I mean, you don't want bone claws, you want the adamantium claws, anyways, and all the abilities that comes with it. We got decades ago. This is what's up. Previously, this is part 3 of Covenant. So I'm going to have to get the first couple. It's written by Cullen Bunn, which I love. Paul Pelletier did the pencils. David Meekus and Cam Smith for inkers, and Rain Burrito and Will Quatina as colorist. Decades ago, a mysterious organization called the Covenant hired Logan to kill a powerful woman known only as the Dreaming Maiden. Unwilling to murder an innocent, Logan secretly spared her life and hid her away. Now the maiden is dreaming again, and Logan must fight past the remaining members of the Covenant to save her life once more. After teaming up with monster hunter Elsa Bloodstone, daughter of Covenant member Ulysses Bloodstone, Logan tracked the Dreaming Maiden to her current location, but the two veteran fighters have found themselves outmatched. Luckily, Logan's ex-girlfriend, Melita Garner, and his tentative ally, former Covenant member Vanessa Baker, have been hard at work sharing information and making plans of their own, and trying to decide who's going to be the next girlfriend of Logan. But yeah, we go back in time, get a little history on our maiden. We get to see her tears start rolling, and she turns to crystallization, and Logan has to try and figure out a way to release her, or what the connection is between them. And then we jump to an unknown location where our characters are stuck in a trap, and it's apparently a room built on with spells or something like that, a chamber that they cannot escape. Logan can't use his claws to climb through the rocks around them. The whole prison cell that they're stuck in happens to be electrified. So if he punches into the rock with his claws, then he can basically get electrified to the point that it's just going to fry him from the inside. So they're worried about that. We got his ex-girlfriend's coming to break him out of that prison. They found out about him being there somehow. I don't have the first 2 parts of this storyline. I'm going to have to find out more about it and get it. It's fun seeing Logan's exes and stuff coming to his aid and causing all kinds of things along the way. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in how that played out, what happened. How I believe that's Wolverine and Elsa Bloodstone that are in the pit and stuck down there. But yeah, got some interest in me. I want to know more, so I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find those first couple issues in a bargain bin. We do have free comic book day coming up in about 5-6 weeks, so that's always a good time to hit those bargain bins. They drop the prices. The dollar ones will be 50 cents and stuff like that. So I stock up big time when I do those. But so it'll be a fun one. See what we can come across. See if we can finish off these couple of stories. That one and the Joe Fixit story at least. Catch up on them. We'll get back with more reviews soon. Unpackings, all that stuff. Started our previews up. Some previews of stuff coming out every month. They'll be coming out. We'll be talking about them, and then they'll come out like about 3 months later, most of the stuff. But Check out those. Check out all our other stuff at Under the Call of MS. And check out Crimson Call Comic Club. And we'll get back with more of this sometime soon. Bye.